It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from New Wharf Brewing Company. This is my first time trying a New Wharf beer, and this is their Explorer American Pale Ale, coming in at 4.3% ABV. There's a look at the can. Quite interesting, really. Obviously, someone exploring the North Pole by the looks of things. He looks freezing cold, doesn't he? But then at the same time, there's the tropics on there and mermaids and limes, and yeah, it's quite an interesting looking can, that. So without further ado, let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. We got slightly different acoustics today in the bar. First time doing a beer review with... Oh. So I decided, I'll get into it a little bit more in a moment. Let's talk about the beer first and foremost. Right, we got a 2-finger white head, good levels of carbonation as the beer rises up the side of the glass. And that lime on the can wasn't just there as a pretty picture. I believe I smelt lime even from kind of this half-arm distance. So it's an amber coloured pale ale, good levels of carbonation. Relatively, yeah, I'd say a clear beer. It's been out the fridge about 5-10 minutes, so it's had that chance to warm up a little bit. Let's get the aroma on the beer then. So as a guess, I'm going to say there's a little bit of added lime. I've not looked on the back of the can. I don't even know where this company comes from. We'll have a look at all of that in a moment. But if you've had anything from New Wharf, comment before I even know where they're from and kind of what's in this beer. It's very zesty, but there's a nice malt bill in here as well. You can definitely get that kind of crisp, slightly biscuity malt aroma too. There's definitely a little bit of caramel malt going on. Bit of grapefruit. Crossed with some sweetness. Lemon, lime. It's got a real kind of candied fruit aroma to it. Almost kind of got there's a big kind of Belgian aspect to this beer. ABV is 4.3%. Right, let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Better. It's decent, that. Holding the beer in the mouth, there's a definite... It's definitely got a nice level of carbonation. The beer is kind of almost kind of hissing and fizzing in your mouth. It's pushing the beer around the inside of the mouth, releasing more of that flavour. It's got a lovely balance to it. It's got a really, really lovely balance to it between that beautiful kind of biscuity malt, slightly kind of Belgian candied sugar over here, and then a little bit of bitterness on the back end with that kind of zesty lemon and lime flavour in the beer. Now, I need to make I need to kind of make a real decision, that's the word, decision on whether there is lime in the beer, or is it actually kind of hops that's doing the job? I would always prefer it to be hops doing the job, to be honest. I think it is. I think it is more of a hoppy beer rather than something with lime added. But it's a really, really superb beer. It's really kind of well balanced. It's hoppy. There's some jam flavour coming through, like mixed fruit jams. There's a touch of lemon, lime, grapefruit, kind of orange peel, that kind of zesty pithiness from the peel. Really good, really good. So these guys contacted me on Instagram, and it's funny, isn't it? Because years ago, it all used to be Facebook. Everything used to be Facebook. I used to look at my Facebook messages, and there'd be messages from companies saying, hey, would you like to kind of try some of our beer and whatnot? And it all used to be done through Facebook. Now, everything's kind of like shifted onto Instagram. I never used to look at my Instagram messages at all. But now, as of the second half of 2023, I'm making a concerted effort to look at my messages, because I've had messages recently from Wharf Brewing Company, Buxton Brewery, New Wharf, and of course people who, the lovely Neil Long always contacts me. He sends me pictures from Malta when he goes on holiday, pictures of the beers and the beers he's bringing back for me. So people as well now contact me on Instagram. It's Real Ale Guide if you're interested in chatting to me on the messages on Instagram, but not too many because I get inundated. I get blooming inundated. Anyway, so I was contacted by New Wharf Brewing Company. I don't know where they're from. I've not looked at the back of the can. I like to do my beer reviews quite blind. The hops are William Aramello, Hallertau Blanc. Yeah, there's no lime in here at all. It's all hops, which is very impressive. They're from Maidenhead. There we go. This vessel contains a delicious and complex American Pale Ale, a well-balanced, medium-bodied craft beer with notes of white grapes, citrus, and lemongrass. Beautiful. It's a really beautiful beer. I'm going to rate it, and then I'll tell you a little bit of story about the insulation. It won't be a long story, just a quick. Some of you have already started commenting on the video saying, what's going on in the bar? I'm going to tell you right after I rate this beer. It looks good, it smells good, it tastes fantastic. I love the malt bill. The malt bill's fantastic. It's got a real kind of almost traditional British ale kind of background to it, but then it's got this new world side to it at the same time. I really like it, really like it. I like it enough to give it a 9 out of 10 actually. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Really, really good beer. Thank you very much for watching. So, the people who have stayed, we're heading towards winter, and if you remember rightly, last winter I was out here in padded jackets and like 2 pairs of socks, and I was flipping freezing out here, absolutely freezing. And I thought, being October now, while it's still relatively warm, it's a good working temperature actually. October, you're not going to get too hot, you're not going to get too cold. I thought I'd do some work on the conservatory, so I battened the wall behind. You can see the battens. So for anyone who's in construction, they're 400 battens, 400mm battens laid out on the wall with some nice foil on. I've got a bell drop on the bottom because that used to be a garden wall, so it's a bell drop where it used to run the water off the bottom of the bell drop. Just an old-fashioned feature that they used to use. So I'm having to batten now on the bottom to get over the bell drop. You'll see the bell drop here. it kicks out a little bit. So that batten there is out further than the bottom batten there. So what I'm having to do is bring it out a little bit with this kind of little delicate piece of timber. And then we're going to plasterboard it. So that's my job for today. Screw that batten on, screw the foil back a little bit better than it is, and plasterboard the wall. So hopefully, a little bit of a warmer winter out here. It might make a difference, it might make no difference at all. The only thing is that's a block on flat wall, so it's an old garden wall really. It's the only external wall of the property in this conservatory. The main doors are all glass. There's not an awful lot I can do there, apart from I put some draft proofing on the doors. And I'm thinking of putting a radiator here. Radiator on the wall in the corner, one of those tall ones. Plasterboard the wall first, and then when the radiator comes on in the morning, when the heating comes on in the morning, it takes the chill out of the air out here. So hopefully this December and January, I'm not out here in padded jackets, freezing cold. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer out here. So that's what I'm doing really, just trying to kind of like nest for the winter, make a nice warm nest for the winter. Thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom, cheers.